Our Lord and our God, we ask your help that we might understand the words that you have spoken so long ago. May they have meaning in our hearts and lives today. Amen. My sister, who is 2 years older than I, and myself had a way of annoying our parents. Now, I don't know if you ever annoyed your parents, but my guess is you probably did. And if you didn't, you've had kids that have annoyed you over the years. Or maybe both. Well, my sister and I had devised a really nice way to annoy our parents. And I don't know how old we are. We must have been, I don't know, 10 or 11 or 12 or somewhere in there. And we had this saying. Somebody would say, "That's life." And one of us would pick this up. And then the other person would say, "What's life?" And the other person would answer back, "A magazine." Remember when life was a magazine? "How much?" 35 cents. It's a long time ago. Only have a dime. That's life. What's life? A magazine. How much? 35 cents. Only have a dime. That's life. What's life? It's a magazine. About the 5th round, one of our parents would say, "That's enough," or something else. But we got the idea that we had achieved our goal. That's life. We say that. That's life. But what is life? Okay, it's not a magazine. It's something else. And do we really understand it? Jesus was trying to explain in the Gospel of John to his disciples what he came to do and who he was and what was happening. And he told them the parable of the sheep and how the shepherd is the gatekeeper, and they come in and they find health. And people at that time knew what it was to take care of sheep and how important the job of the shepherd was. And the shepherd was good. He took care of the sheep, and the sheep knew that. But they didn't understand what Jesus was trying to say. Jesus saying, "I am the gate. If you come in by me, if you do what I'm telling you, you will find life in all of its fullness, or in its abundance." Jesus was talking about abundant life, real living. And I think that we need to understand that today, because I don't think that we really have a grasp on what abundant life is. In our world today, things seem to be what the abundance is all about. We want to have this, we want to have that, and the more things that we seem to accrue, the better our life is. But you know what? Life is a lot more than our possessions. Sometimes it's our health. We want to have good health, and we want to have the ability to do all this that we need to do, and so this is abundant life. But it's not. It's more than that. There is something that Jesus has brought to us that gives us a fullness that nothing else gives. It's very simply a life of love. Now, this is not a new concept. It's not something that isn't in the Jewish scriptures. It's there. But it wasn't practiced. Jesus is saying you need to practice this. Just like you know how the shepherd takes care of the sheep. You need to know that I'm telling you what is worthwhile, what is good, what is valuable. And if you live that way, you're going to have much more of the enjoyment of life. That may not make everything great or perfect, but it will make life full and rich. Now, the trouble is that we don't want to do it Jesus' way. We want to do it our way. We want to be in control. And control is one of the things that gets us into the most difficulty in our world today. We want to be in control of everything. But control doesn't work because God is the one that needs to be in control. And so we look to Jesus as the revelation of God, God with us. And in Jesus' life, in his teachings, he shows us a way to live. Now, we think if we had enough power, we could command and we could make everything happen the way we want. Well, people of Jesus' day were expecting the same thing. They wanted a general to have an army and to free them from Rome. Jesus didn't do that. Jesus didn't abuse people. He didn't hurt people. What he did was he became the suffering servant, that he took upon himself the abuse. And so it gives us a clue as to God's way. You know, when we do things, we want other people to feel the same way we do. Okay, let's say one of our kids bites us. Okay, I know some parents that bite them back just to teach them how to feel. And I got to tell you, that's not a good way. It doesn't work. There are times when husband and wife hurt each other. And the other person says, I'm going to show you how bad that feels, and I'm going to make you hurt the same way. And that doesn't work either. But we have this idea in ourselves, if we can only make the other person feel the way we feel, or if we can only control them to do what we want, then that is abundance. That's what we're looking for. But it's not. It's not the way of God. It's not the way of Jesus. Jesus came to us in love and forgiveness and care and changed us in that way, not by overpowering us. That's what he means by being the gate. And we don't want to go that way because we think that it's weak, but it's not. I want to tell you a story. Again, I swear to you it's real. I don't know why people tell me these things, but people tell me things that are true and they're strange. I was serving a church in a suburban area outside of a big city. And a man came to me, one of my church members, one day, and he said, I need to talk. And I said, come on in. And he was 70 going on 80. And he said, I lost my wife 3 years ago, and I've been pretty lonely since then. But he said, there's my neighbor next door. She lost her husband, and she's lonely too, and we've become friends. But we don't want other people to think badly of us, and so we don't want to show anything in public of being together. And I understood that, and then he said, but we do get together, and he said, the way we get together is one of us will call the other one on the telephone, and then we'll both go up to our attics and open the window. And their houses were 3 feet apart, because it was city. And then he pushed a 12-inch wooden plank out his window, across to her window, and he crawled across on his hands and knees. I said to him, I really should have said, that's crazy, but I was thinking that. The reason he came to me was because it was coming towards winter, and he was afraid he wasn't going to get across that plank. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I said, I think you need to be a little bit more public because that's dangerous. I said, go to each other's houses. If you have to, use the back door, but why not tell people? Why not come out in the open? And why not do it the right way? Well, he was reluctant because, again, he was afraid of what people may think. But here's the point. We don't always do things the right way. And this is what Jesus was talking about. He said, I am the gate. Some people go over the fence and some people go around, but come my way. Come my way. Because that's a better way. And it is. It is a better way. It's better to be open. It's better to be honest. It's better to be trusting in God than it is to be trusting in our own way. Because our own way can be flawed. Our thinking can be mistaken. We need to trust that God was in Jesus Christ and that he was showing us the way to live. Because that's what he came to do. He lived a certain way. He taught us, and he lived it. And we need to understand that. This concept of love seems for some people to be weak and ineffectual. I've had many, many conversations with people who say, well, you know what, you can talk about that love, but really, you got to talk about judgment. You got to talk about God's power and what God's going to do to us if we don't straighten out. And that's not what Jesus did. It's not what Jesus did. Jesus came and laid his life down for us. Love is powerful. It changes us. I had one student that I supervised from seminary, and he said, Ron, that love stuff is just the fluff of life. It's not the fluff of life. It's the heart of life. It's the heart of our gospel. It's the heart of our God. To love one another. To love ourselves. To love our God. These change our lives. It's the gate to abundance. It's the gate to God. It's the gift that God has given to us. That's life. That's life. To have a way of life that follows the teaching and the example of our Lord Jesus Christ. To lead us in his way. The Good Shepherd takes care of the sheep. And our Good Shepherd takes care of us. Shows us the way to abundance. That's not easy. It's not easy to be loving. But it's important. As we become loving of ourselves and others in God, it not only changes our lives, but it changes the lives of others. And that change is what God is trying to help us understand. That's love. Let us pray. Help us, Lord, that we might find that love.